How's it going out there? My name is Alex, and I wasn't really going to build a guitar, but then I came up with a super awesome, cool way of making a guitar neck in a totally new way that no one's ever made a guitar neck before, and it's a totally amazing and awesome thing. And so I thought, hey, if I'm going to join in on this challenge of building awesome guitars, maybe my thing could be to make an awesome guitar neck instead of making something cool with the body. So I'm going to focus on the neck instead, because I haven't really seen anyone else do that. And I had this awesome, really amazing idea of how to make a guitar neck, and I was shocked to realize that no one's ever made a guitar neck this way before, and I couldn't really figure out why that was. So I thought about it for about 5 minutes and then realized it was probably the dumbest idea I've ever had. So the reason why no one ever does it is because it's taking something that is fairly simple and straightforward and totally making it into something that is super complex and irritating and annoying and will, most of all, require math. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do now, and then we're going to see some steps in between when I'm building this neck. And hopefully you're all going to laugh about how stupid this is. So, first off, we have a piece of wood here. I have a template here that I use for cutting out guitar necks from the side. This is usually what I use when I build my Gibson-inspired Les Paul kind of guitars. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to put it down like this. And I hope you can see it on the screen. I don't think you can, because the exposure is all messed up. Something like that. And what I'm basically going to do, and this is going to be crazy stupid, is I'm going to cut a line along the side here where I have the straight edge of this board, and I'm going to inlay a truss rod, but I'm not going to inlay it all the way like you would normally do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to inlay it halfway, and then I'm going to do a mirror opposite piece where I inlay it the other way around. And then I'm going to take both of these pieces and I'm going to do a reversed book match where I basically close both of these up against each other, sandwiching the truss rod in between. And then I'm going to flip it over, and that's when I'm going to take my actual template for a guitar neck and use that along that side to cut out the neck. So it's basically going to be like a guitar neck, but instead of gluing the fretboard on, I'm gluing half the neck on the left side and the other one on the right side. So it's going to be something like that, which is of course super stupid, because what I'm going to have to do is basically I'm going to have to figure out where this will lie on both sides and make a perfect copy, because they can't be off by a mil or a tenth of a mil, actually, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to have to measure out how thick of a fretboard I want this guitar to have, because it's going to be a part of the neck. And then I'm going to have to figure out what half of this is, and I'm going to have to make a weird routing that is mirrored to itself, so that when I later go to actually glue these up, the top of this neck still lines up and I get a nice even block that is actually a workable piece. So that's what I'm going to do now, and hopefully, well, if you feel like you can do this too, awesome, do it. It's super stupid and it's not like a smart way of making a guitar neck, but if you think it's fun, then do it. Because I would say that 99.784% of making a guitar is having fun. So let's have fun. This is but I wouldn't recommend you building a neck like this. I'm gonna make a video separately on how you actually make a neck in a smart way later on. So if you feel like, oh, he's teaching me to be stupid, don't worry. I'll teach you how to be smart too, hopefully. I don't know if I can teach someone to be smart though. We'll see when that day comes. So, to start off, always drink coffee. It's the meaning of life or something like that. I don't know. Okay, the first thing we need to do is take the template and draw it around. What I've done to make sure that this works is I've made a line on the body, on the neck piece, that matches up perfectly on both sides, so that I have a reference line for everything to cut out from. And it's basically the end here. So all I need to do is make sure that this side, that is the straight side, matches up on both sides, and that this line matches up. And then take measurements and write everything down and make sure everything is perfect. But I'm taking my template, wow, right here it is, and I'm putting it down, and I'm gonna hold it up to this line, making sure that it matches perfectly. And then I'm gonna draw around it. Now here is a trick for everyone who wants to cut things with a router and they don't have to think about things. And I always say, if you don't have to think about something, then that's a good day. Buy a pen that is about 2 mil thick, and then when you're going to draw around your template, you draw around it with this thick pencil. And I'm going to show you right as I'm done with this. But what that means is that you have a mill, and all you have to do is basically cut outside of this line, and you have perfect space for your router. And you don't have to think about like, oh, have I cut enough so that I don't feed too much into the router and things blow up and I end up hurting myself. If you can, never hurt yourself. It's like the golden rule of life or something. And now I've drawn around it, and as you can probably see, you can see the line. And now all I have to do is cut this out and be around that line. But first, I have to do the same thing on the other one, but I also have to figure out how this truss rod is going to fit in. Because I have to put it inside here, but I have to also put it in between. Because if I put it too close to the edge, I'm not going to have a fretboard to sand down and make a radius. So I'm going to have to put it in the middle. Now also, because my guitars have an angle that doesn't really allow this sort of work, and I don't really feel like making a new template with a different angled headstock. This will basically like poke through very far down the headstock, and I don't think that's gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this over there and have the access in the bottom, which is perfectly fine. I don't think that's going to matter at all. And if it does, I'll just have to make a new guitar neck. It's not that big of a deal. It sucks sometimes when you're tired and have a headache, but drink coffee. So I'm gonna basically all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this truss rod here, and that let me take a pencil and make a mark where the truss rod ends. Like that. And now I can transfer these lines. And maybe I should also say, which is something that is super important that I totally forgot to tell you, that I've made sure that these two pieces of wood are perfectly square. And if you look really close, you can probably see, I don't know if you can see that actually, that it's actually two pieces of wood. So it's going to be a 4-piece neck, basically. But now I have two reference lines. I have this one down here, and I have this one here. And all I have to do is take the other piece of the neck, and I have to make sure that I line the two first lines up perfectly to the point where they are super well together, and then how did I lose my pen already? There it is. If you don't know where something is, it's probably right in front of you. Now I can just basically make sure that I have a mark that makes them line up perfectly here. And then I can just put this one to the side. And I can just take this piece and use the edge to make a perfect line for this. And this is really what makes this difficult. This has to be perfect. There is just no way around it. Like, you can't really make a neck this way because I'm gonna have to be super careful. So I'm gonna go off a little bit right now, telling you guys like, wow, blah 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 blah. But the truth is, I'm actually gonna have to be super concentrated and try to do this without trying to be funny. Because I mean, let's face it, I'm not actually funny, I'm just trying to. And I'm gonna try to put in some small tips and things so that this video isn't completely meaningless. I mean, it's very close to meaningless and stupid, but you know. Something like that. So, when I come back, I've basically decided where I want the neck to be, and I've cut this out. Now, before I go, I don't know if I've already explained this though, but what I'm basically going to have to do is take the truss rod, this thickness, and divide it in half and route a channel for it. And but the channel has to be this thickness. And you know, it's going to be great. I believe in myself. I don't. I really don't. Anyway, yeah. When I'm back, I'm going to have routed both the channels. Hopefully the truss rod fits in there. If it doesn't, then we're totally screwed, and may God have mercy on our souls, or whatever. And then we'll just, you know, cut the neck out, and then put this, I forgot the template, yeah, that's the word, on, and then use the router to cut around. And then we can basically glue this piece up. Hopefully. If everything goes the way I'm, you know, hoping that it will go. Which, if I know myself, the slightest is not going to go well at all. This is probably where a disaster happens. And the next time you see me, I'm wearing band-aids. Yeah. Bam! There we have it! The stupid guitar neck is it's on its way. Now, all I have to do is put some glue down on it and clamp it together, and well, I hope you know what I have to do next. It's a super important thing, and if you're thinking about building guitars, you really need to know this, because it's like the trade secret everyone needs to know. After I put glue on these, I'm gonna clamp them together and let them dry. I know, isn't that crazy? I mean, I think it's crazy. Anyway, see you after the glue has dried. So now we're back, and I've cut the neck out. It looks all good. I kept the neck heel a little bit high. I have the excess there, which looks a bit goofy right now, but I'm gonna drill and do a ring thing and plug it up and make it all look nice and neat. And I've marked out the frets. When everything is straight and forward and everything looks sort of like a board, it's super easy to mark out the frets. So before I taper in the neck and give it that lovely, you know, guitar neck shape, you know, this thing, then I'm marking out the frets. Now, I feel a little bit like, I don't know, guilt maybe? I don't know. I didn't buy a Crimson guitar kit, and the reason why I didn't do that is because I, well, they're probably good kits, let's just say that. I don't need them for building guitars though, so it felt kind of stupid. But I bought this thing, so I'm gonna do a quick little commercial thing for Crimson Guitar here, because this thing is awesome. I really like it. You can. There are a lot of ways to figure out where to cut your fret slots, and it's not something that is particularly hard to do. You can just, you know, print out a scale and put it on the guitar and cut. You can measure it out with the rulers and just use math. But this ruler from Crimson Guitar has 4 different scales on it, and it's super easy to use. You just put it on the center line and then you just follow along the marks. And it even have dots for the marks on 3rd and 5th and 7th and so on. And so I decided to use this one, and I used the 24.6 25-inch scale, which is, I don't know what that is supposed to be. It's not a Gibson scale, but you know, because I think the Gibson is the 24.75 scale, but I use that because I don't have a guitar with that scale, and yeah, good times are fun times. So now I'm gonna cut these fret slots super quickly, just, and then I'm just gonna route the front of this guitar to make it look, you know, more like a guitar shape. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes to show you how that all ended. I do have to say before I leave you that I thought that this was going to be a stupid thing, and I was actually, the reason why I did it was because I had this idea that, oh, that could be a fun video to do, because I kind of wanted to make something fun if I was going to enter this competition. But the more I look at it, the more I actually like it, and I kind of feel stupid for telling you guys that this is not how you're supposed to make a guitar neck, and now I kind of feel like this is the best way to make a guitar neck, or something. I don't know. If you really match the grain up, which I didn't actually think about doing, but I sort of happily accidentally did, it sort of looks like a one-piece neck that is a truly one-piece neck. And then, I mean, people who are looking at this later on and maybe not, you know, looking super closely might go like, whoa, how did you get a truss rod inside that block of wood? And that's always neat and nice and cool and awesome, you know, when people are like, whoa, dude, how the hell did you do that? And you're like, and just that awesome. Oh well. Back to the making. See ya. So the day is moving along. Here's the guitar neck. It's almost finished. There's just a couple of things that I have to do, like radius the fretboard. I'm gonna use a I don't know if you can see this. A 16-inch reducing block. I think that will be nice on this guitar. I don't know. It's one of those things, you know, you gotta do, that you do. And then, yeah, I've forgotten. Next step will be something else. Maybe fretting it. That seems like something you should do. Oh well. I'll see you when I do that. So I'm back. So now, basically what I've done is I've put the frets in, which hopefully you can see. I've also rounded over the edges and smoothed everything out, so they're really nice and neat. What's left right now is putting in the marks on the side and then shaping the heel down here. It's a little bit rough and weird right now because I haven't figured out how deep into the body it's gonna go, and also how thick the neck needs to be. Need to do some math on that, and then I need to make a nut, which is also something I'm gonna do. And then the standard, you know, leveling the frets and polishing them and all that jazz. Yes, I can't speak. Next up is making the side dots though, but I'm gonna call it a day today, right now, because it's like, I don't know, 10 in the evening and I'm actually starting to get kind of tired. I know I haven't shown you a lot of me physically building this guitar neck, but I'm gonna do a lot of videos in the future where I'm totally showing you how to make everything and going into super detail on every step to make an awesome guitar, especially making an awesome neck, because that's the most important part. But I've been doing this all day. I'm kind of late to the game, as I've probably already said. I can't remember what I've said. So I feel like I had to really get going. So yeah, this entire video has been one day, just stressing through, like planing and sharpening and cutting and sawing and flipping out and drinking coffee. Can you see my cool Moomin mug? Yeah. Drinking coffee. And actually eating cookies too. So, I don't know. I shouldn't complain. I'm not complaining. I'm saying goodbye. Keep it real, keep it cool, and if you like guitars and things like that, you know, I have another video, or 2 other videos, or 5 other videos about guitars, or something. I don't know how many videos I have. You can watch them if you want to. If you don't want to watch them, you don't need to tell me that you don't want to watch them. Just don't watch them. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing. Keep it real, keep it cool, keep it floating, keep it something else. I don't know, I'm rambling. I'm gonna go. Bye.